Hey loves, Tony here and welcome to the inaugural episode of the TL Yarn Crafts podcast. I am Tony, your host, and you can find me at TL Yarn Crafts on YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram. So I have been asked for probably the better part of a year whether or not I plan to do a podcast, and the answer was always no. Too many things on my plate, too much stuff going on. What would I even talk about? And then I thought about it. I was like, I actually have a lot of stuff that I could talk about. Like, as much as I love yarn and so many things that have nothing to do with yarn, I can fill an hour pretty easy. So that is where the idea for the TL Yarn Crafts podcast came about. I have a format for this, but it is very likely it's going to go completely off the rails, and I am totally fine with that. The Gemini in me is like, let's do this, and I'm really, really glad that you're along for the ride. I don't know if one person's going to watch this. I don't know if a million people are going to watch this, but I'm just so glad that you are here and hanging out with me today. So let's jump right in, and we're going to be talking about my works in progress and finished objects. The very first work in progress that I have to share, of course, is my temperature blanket. So I kind of debuted the concept that I was doing a temperature blanket for 2019 here on YouTube. So it makes total sense that I'm doing my first kind of full update on that progress right now. So here's what I have so far. Look at him. Isn't he cute? Doesn't look like a ton right now, but my favorite part is this just happy yellow stripe right here. So if you don't know what a temperature blanket is, I definitely encourage you to check back a few videos where I talked about what it is, and then I also did some blog posts on just further going through temperature blankets and also some frequently asked questions. So as far as my temperature blanket, I'm doing it in Tunisian crochet, Tunisian simple stitch, and I'm doing several panels. So this is the first of 5 panels, because the issue with temperature blankets is depending on what stitch you use, if your blanket is just growing too fast, you're going to end up with like an 8-foot or 10-foot blanket. I didn't want that to happen, so I did a crap ton of math to make sure I ended up with a blanket that's right around 55 by 60. So a good throw size, something that I can keep in my living room. So that's how this is happening. So it's only 12 inches wide. So when I get the 5 panels, it'll be 60 inches wide, and that'll be like the width of my throw blanket, and then it's going to be 55 inches tall. It's been kind of chilly and weird here in Ohio. The year started off quite warm in like the 30s and 40s, and then we got like a big chill. We had like one day that was in the 30s, and then it got cold again. And this white stripe actually delineates the end of January for me. And I'm only working on my blanket once a week. So what's today? So I'm filming this on Thursday, so I won't actually do this week's rows until Sunday. And here is my color palette, because I don't think I ever shared it. Look at you. So I've had this yarn in this basket since I got it, because I just think it looks so cute in here. It looks like a bouquet, like, doesn't it? They look like little yarny flowers. And the yarn that I'm using for my temperature blanket is Knit Picks Swish DK. So Knit Picks Swish DK is like super duper pretty. I love the color saturation. They also had a ton of options. So I went for like some warmer pinks, a pop of yellow, and then some of their more fun neutrals. So I will put a link to Swish DK down at the bottom, and I will include all of the colors that I'm using. I think I have 9 colors total. So once it starts to warm up, I'll be able to use some of these other colors, but there's the update on my temperature blanket. And no matter when you're watching this, it is never too late to start your temperature blanket. So I definitely encourage you to check out that other video and also the blog post on TLYC blog to start your own temperature blanket. So the next work in progress that I have going on is for my crochet along Make It Cal 2019. So I also did a video about Make It Cal 2019. It's a 5-week event where you crochet and share any TL Yarn Crafts project for a chance to win prizes. I've given away some really amazing prizes so far, thanks to some very, very generous sponsors, all small businesses that I found via Instagram, all women-owned businesses, people that I absolutely love, and I'm so, so very grateful to partner with. We are in our very last week. Make It Cal ends on Sunday. That's when I'm going to pick my last winner. So if you're watching this in time, definitely encourage you to either go to my Facebook group, TLYC Makers, or to use the hashtag on Instagram at Make It Cal 2019 for a chance to win the very last prize, which is a signed copy of Whimsical Stitches, which is an amigurumi book by Lauren Espy. So I'm going to share with you my project, but first I'm going to show you the original, and then I'm going to show you kind of what's the new version that I'm working on. So here's the original project. this is, and if you know TL Yarn Crafts, you know this. So this is the Ada shawl. This is my Ada baby. So I am totally addicted to Tunisian crochet. This is my very first triangle Tunisian crochet shawl. I absolutely love her. I talk about her all the freaking time. So when Make It Cal came up, I was like, so what TL Yarn Crafts pattern do I want to kind of recreate? What do I want to make look new? So I am reinventing the Ada shawl, and I'm going to show you my whip now. She's huge. She's really, really big. I am like 6 rows from completing her. But this is, I might have to stand up. I don't know. Where's the top of you? Where do you end, girl? Okay, here she go. So this is the Ada Shawl XL. I cannot even get it all the way in frame. Let me see if I back up. Okay, so this is the Ada Shawl XL. She is made with We Are Knitters of Petite Wool, 100% Peruvian wool, single ply, and I got 3 colors. I got spotted beige, I got spotted mauve, and blush. So spotted beige, mauve, spotted beige, spotted mauve, and blush. I am trying my hardest, okay? So she's really, really big, and basically what I did is just kind of adjust the way that the stripes move from the first and second color to the second and third color, made her way, way bigger. When she's all said and done, she's going to be about 80 inches long. Maybe 75. I might just stop and like cut my losses. So I like to personally cake up my We Are Knitters of Petite Wool. Like, it comes in a really pretty ball that looks great in photos, but it's actually kind of hard to use in actuality. So I always cake mine up. So this is the last cake that I have of this color. And I could get a lot out of this. I could keep going, but practically speaking, I'm already going to be wearing a blanket. So I think I'm just going to stop. But like I said, we still have a few days left of Make It Cal 2019. So definitely check out the blog post and the original video, and go ahead and get your entries in before Sunday for a chance to win some awesome prizes. So next up is a segment that I'm going to call #YarnLove, because if you know anything about me and anything about TL Yarn Crafts, I love acquiring yarn just as much as I love working with yarn. So I was supposed to be on a yarn fast for 2019. I told myself I like purged like crazy at the end of 2018. I did several destashes on my Instagram page. I gave a ton of yarn to my mom. I was like, I'm done. I'm taking a break. I am not going to put any more yarn in my stash, as we all say, until I use what I have. And I have projects planned for a ton of the yarn that I have, but honestly, sometimes you and the yarn just connect, and you can't deny that yarn love. You just can't. So I'm going to share with you 3 recent acquisitions for my stash, because it's getting a little bit overwhelming, but you know what? We're going to make space. We're going to make space. So the very first one that I'm going to share is probably my favorite. We're saving the best for first, okay? Okay. It's these babes. Okay. So, okay, let me let you see it first. Look at this color. Look at the dimension. I'm going to need you to focus. There you go, boo. So I need you to check the color. I need you to check the tag. I need you to check the dimension. I need you to check in with these speckles and just the everything. Okay. So if you are not familiar with Ken Yarn, let me learn you right quick. So I have a friend named Jake, and he runs a dye studio called Ken Yarn. And he is based out of Rhode Island. He is probably one of the sweetest, nicest, most interesting people that I've ever met. But he's also like light and airy and fun, and just the best combination of all the best things, just as a person. So I'm not even surprised that he comes out the gate with his monthly yarn club with a color like this. So he has a monthly yarn club that's based on the tarot, and he makes a limited number of skeins available, for one. You can only get them in a very specific amount of time. I think it's like a week that he leaves sales open for them. And he has two kind of different options when it comes to the monthly yarn club. So it's based on the tarot, like I said, and it's based on the major arcana. I want to make sure I'm saying this right, but I'm probably not. The major arcana and then like the minor cards. So I got 2 skeins of the major card, and this one is the Lovers. And I just got the major because the way that he described the colors, like the majors were like bold and vibrant and very deep, deep colors. And then the minors were, you know, a little bit more muted, a little bit more neutrals. And I was like, if we're going to do this, if I'm going to spend 50 bucks on 2 skeins of yarn, like, give me all the color and all the happiness and all the excitement. So I went for 2 of the lovers, and then I saw the release of the minor color, and I was like, oh, I should have just got 1 of each. So that's what I'm gonna do from now on. So if you do not know Ken Yarn already, I definitely encourage you to 1, get on his email list, 2, follow him on Instagram, and 3, make sure you are getting at least 1, probably 2 skeins of his monthly yarn club that opens up at the end of the month. So I am checking for February already. I need it here. I need it to happen. I am totally here for it. You need to be here for it. So the next yarn was purchased like completely on a whim. I went to a yarn store called So to Speak in Worthington, Ohio. I don't make it in there as often as I would like to. There's a lot of really good yarn stores in and around Columbus, but I kind of have my one favorite yarn store and I spend a lot of time there. So I went up to So to Speak to hang out with a friend, and I was just perusing the yarn section because, you know, how can you not? And I fell completely in love with this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. I'm gonna hold it up real quick. Can we talk about it? Can we? Look at this. So this is called Plum PDK. It's from Mrs. Moon, which is a UK-based yarn company. And let me talk about these colors. So this color is called Marshmallow, right? Yeah. This color is called Marshmallow. It's like this really, like, I've been in love with the color peach lately, and I said this other skein of yarn was the perfect peach, but I don't know, this might be like the perfect peach. Like, I'm so stinking in love with this. And can you see the halo on there? So here's the deal with Plum PDK. So this is 80% superfine sustainable merino and 20% baby alpaca. It says on the label that it is, where did it say it? All the labels are covered now. It says that it is sumptuous softness and ethically sourced. And I looked up on the Mrs. Moon website to see what that meant, because like, if you're going to say something, I need you to make sure it's actually something. So sustainably sourced means that it is non-museled, which you can look up what that means. And it also is, the wool is shorn. It's not from like the animal skins industry. Like, these animals are only kept for their yummy merino happiness. Okay, so I got these colors, super duper happy with them. This color is Marshmallow. This one I think is called Darjeeling. Yes, like the tea. And then this color is called dun, 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 Pavlova. I love you guys. So I originally had another much brighter peach originally to go with this, but I went with these 3 colors. I don't know exactly what they're going to become yet. I'm thinking about a pair of mittens. I haven't crocheted a pair of mittens, and I think I can make a pair of really, really cute color work Tunisian crochet mittens worked flat. This is a DK weight base, so it'll be nice and warm without being like too bulky, and you'll still be able to operate things with your hands in these mittens. So I thought it was worth a try. I've decided when I buy yarn, unless it's something like super special just for myself, I want to get something that I can actually make something with and that I have an idea for. So I'm going to try and make these mittens and get these done and ready within the next few weeks. Pray for me, y'all. I be overcommitting like nobody's business. So the last bit of hashtag yarn love that I have for you today is something that I'm really excited about, kind of losing my crap about and fangirling like a crazy person. So before I kind of show you the yarn, I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory. So a few days ago on my Instagram stories, I did an Ask Me Anything with the questions. People were able to send me questions. I answered them right off the top of my head, no filter, like no research, like I'm just legit answering the question straight up. So one of the questions was, if there were no obstacles, no boundaries, what yarn company would you want to make all of your projects with? And my immediate answer was Hue Loco. So if you're not familiar with Hue Loco, it is run by this very, very sweet, very, very nice, extremely talented woman named Nicole. Nicole makes some of the most saturated, gorgeous yarns I've ever seen. And it also helps that every single picture on her Instagram is like, I just want to dive into it. I just want to swim in her yarns and just like stare at them all day, every day. But I've never actually owned a skein of Hue Loco before. All I know is that I'm totally in love with the aesthetic. I'm totally in love with the colors. Her color schemes and the colorways that she uses are just so me, and I love them so much. So I put in my story that Hue Loco would be the yarn brand that I would use for everything. So she reached out and she was like, oh my God, like, that's really awesome and really, really sweet. Let me like, you know, send you a couple little goodies. And I was like, girl, you ain't gotta do that, but here's my address, okay? So my package just came in the mail yesterday and I opened it, but I have not taken the yarn out of the little cellophane container. So I'm going to show it to you and we're going to open it together legit right here. So I'm going to tell you about this experience, okay? So here's what I got. A moment of silence for this gorgeous yarn, okay? All right, here we go. So I'm going to hold this up for you guys so you can see it. So this is the gorgeousness from Hue Loco that I got. This color is called Flower Child. This is her merino worsted base. It's superwash merino, worsted weight 4-ply, 218 yards in a skein. I can see that right here. I'm reading it. And then this one is her mohair lace base. It's kid mohair and silk. Single ply. Oh my God. I have done 0 things with mohair. I had some mohair silk blend in my stash and I gave it away when I did my de-stash in 2018 because I was like, I've had this for the better part of a year. I've done nothing with it. I was like legit Marie Kondoing everything in my studio. I was like, yes, this brings me joy, but it will bring more joy and more immediate joy to somebody else. I need to get this out of my stash because I'll have more joy by having more space in my stash because I was feeling legit so overwhelmed by everything that was in my studio. I promise you one thing, this mohair will not be de-stashed. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take it out and let's like get up in it. Oh my God, it feels so good. It feels so nice. Okay, so first off, let's get the merino out the way. So you guys know merino, you know the squish, you know the bounce, you know the happiness. It's a 4-ply, which means the stitch definition on this is going to be amazing. I'm gonna open up one of these. Like even her labels are hella cute. Like look at this. Can we talk about how adorable like this whole situation is? Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy right in this moment, like so happy. All right, we're gonna open this up. We're gonna open up the whole skein. We're gonna talk about all the colors in here and why I love Hue Loco so much. This is the reason why. Like this is my first time getting this yarn in my hands and I'm already like, I'm here for it. I'm here for every part of it. So here's a little close up of the situation that I'm dealing with here. It is like the creamiest of cream bases and then it's got like speckles and splotches. It legit looks like a very, very bright 2-year-old went to town on this skein of yarn. And I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that because that 2-year-old is way more talented than I am. There's purples, there's blues, there's mauves, there's dusty roses, there's rust, there's sunshine yellow. Like it matches my sweatshirt. Seriously, whatever I make, I'm gonna wear it with this sweatshirt every time. So happy with this. So the merino is fab. Let's check the smell. Does anybody else smell their skeins? Because I always do. I'm always looking for either no scent or vinegar. That's it. That's all I want my skeins to smell like. I had one yarn company that wanted to work with me and their skein smelled like Febreze. And I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Yep, I'm getting faint hints of vinegar. I'm happy with that. And otherwise it just smells clean. It just smells really, really clean. Okay, I'm done being a weirdo. So I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you be happy. I'm terrible at skeining yarn. Don't look at this. Don't look at what I'm doing right now, okay? I'm really bad at this. Oh my God. Why did I even? Okay, this is sad. You know what? That's not too bad. Could be worse. It's not as good as this, but it's okay. So we'll put those down and let's talk about the mohair. Oh, look at this color. Can you zoom? Can you zoom? Can you do that for me? There we go. So we're going to check this color really quick. It's like the dustiest, mauviest happiness. The color's called mauve, which makes total sense. I'm digging through this and I'm getting like pinks and browns. Like the halo on this is so like, it's like magical. Let's see. Yeah, I feel the silk. I feel the silk. Slight vinegar, but otherwise clean. Maybe that's Hue Loco's signature scent. A touch of vinegar, but overall just super clean. I love it. So the plan is because what is this color? Flower Child. Flower Child has this really pretty mauviness going through the bottom. So the plan is to hold one of each together. I am 99% sure this is going to become a hat. And if it doesn't become a hat, it may become a cowl. I really want to make sure the yarn shines though, so it'll be something simple, something super straightforward. But I just love the idea of really using fun and interesting and different and exciting yarns in crochet, because with all of these yarns, like even the Plum PDK is new to me. The Ken Yarn Club is very, very new. These Hue Locos, these are new to me at least. And the idea that you can use all of these yarns to crochet something absolutely gorgeous, like that's what excites me. That's what wakes me up every single day, is like, how can I defy the expectations when it comes to crochet? So that is totally happening. This is going to become a crochet project, hopefully super duper soon. The Ken yarn is just going in my stash for me to stare at for a while. This gorgeous, gorgeous DK base. Like I literally can't. And then the Plum PDK is, fingers crossed, going to become a set of mittens that maybe I can get the pattern out before, I don't know, summer. No promises, but we'll see what happens. So now that we've done hashtag yarn love, I want to move into my favorite things, which is a little segment where I talk about other things that I totally love. Some of them are yarn related, most of them are not. So the very first thing that I am totally in love with right now is the fact that our Maker Life 2019 event tickets go on sale today. So let me get you caught up if you don't know what our Maker Life is. And I'm going to read directly off of their website so I do not mess this up. It says, Our Maker Life was launched in 2016. It's a knit and crochet movement for makers by makers. The OML community consists of knit and crochet shop owners, pattern designers, bloggers, and social media influencers who are passionate about contributing creatively and collectively to handmade. Like, they're just legit all about how can we post gorgeous photos, build community, and connect people when it comes to knit and crochet. And I am so here for it and so excited about it, because not only the entities behind the scenes, but also just the aura and the energy that exists around our Maker Life. So I'm not personally directly involved with OML, but I feel like I'm OML adjacent, because like it just, the spirit of it exists like in me. Everything that they do, between the make book that I was part of, the OML monthly events that I've been to, even just their Instagram presence that just pops up in my feed like every single day. I'm always so excited to see what they're going to do next and how they're just making everyone love and appreciate knit and crochet so much right now. OML's 2019 event is going to be in Calgary, Canada. They've done a very thinly veiled surprise about one of their keynotes, which is Chantel of Knititude, who is like one of my personal friends. And I feel like I'm like not only fangirling, but also kind of feeling like the proud auntie that she is going to be the keynote speaker for this event. I've also never been to Calgary, Canada before, so I'm going to be going up there for a very extended trip, and I'm really, really excited about the whole event. You can search the OML event on their website, but ultimately it's going to be a chance for all of us Insta friends to meet each other in person, actually hug each other, hold each other, take pictures together, talk about all of the exciting things that we have going on, and really just fellowship together on one long, beautiful day. It honestly just feels like going to camp. It feels like going to camp for knitters and crocheters. It is so much fun. It is also just kind of this exciting modern experience when it comes to the yarn art. So I definitely encourage you to check that out, and do not delay. The tickets go on sale today, and I am 100% sure they're going to sell out. Another thing that I'm totally loving right now is the fact that Netflix did a Valentine's special for their show Big Mouth. So if you don't watch Big Mouth, I totally get it, totally understand it, totally respect it. It's kind of gross, kind of raunchy, but I don't know. It's one of my personal favorites. So if you don't watch Big Mouth, here's the deal. Here's what it is. It's an animated series that follows a group of middle schoolers who are going through puberty. That's like the most PG way to explain what this show is. If you go deeper than just kind of the nasty jokes and some of the imagery, it's really about relationship building and having hard conversations and relating with your parents when you're going through those awkward changes. And it's really just interesting to me as a child of psychology and just a person who loves to laugh. I don't know. I love it, and I only watch it by myself. I don't watch it with anyone else because I feel some kind of way about it. But that is how I spent the first 45 minutes of my day, is watching that Valentine's special. If you want to laugh and hear Maya Rudolph do weird things with the letter B, like, I strongly encourage you to watch that Big Mouth Valentine's special on Netflix. Also on my list of favorite things is my girl, Jackie Aina, Auntie Jackie. Like, I'm just a fan. I've gotten into makeup a lot more lately, just as a fun kind of hobby thing to do, just like myself, but slightly better on days when I'm feeling like I need a little bit of a pick-me-up. And I really like Jackie because she gives you those practical tips and those really fun things to do with makeup, but she also goes into deeper conversations and talks about like bullying personalities on YouTube, or diversity or the lack of diversity in the makeup industry, and really talks about those things that maybe you don't expect from just somebody who does makeup. She has a true opinion about just about everything, and it's really entertaining to watch. I also love following her on Instagram because her stories are just the most hilarious things. So if you don't follow Jackie Aina already, I strongly encourage you to click over to her YouTube videos after you're done with this, and yeah, you'll probably be there for a few hours, just catching up with all of the videos that she has. She's been doing this since like 2010, so damn near 10 years. Like, she's one of the OGs when it comes to the makeup game and the YouTube makeup genre. If you're not up on Jackie Aina, I definitely encourage you to enrich your life and add Jackie to it. And last but not least, on the things that I am loving right now are granny squares. I know that feels super random, but granny squares and I have been on an on-again, off-again relationship like since I learned to crochet. One day I think they're absolutely lovely and classic and beautiful and super versatile, and the next day they're like antiquated and old-timey and not challenging enough, and I just can't appreciate their beauty. So right now, I'm happy to say Granny Squares and I are officially on, and we are collaborating together. So I've made a couple swatches so far. These are made with Lion Brand woolies. Let me get you focused, girl. There you go. So these are made with Lion Brand woolies. This is the cream color is Fisherman, and then in the middle I have the color Gold. These are going to become a thing, and that thing will be a free pattern come spring. So be excited about the lovely relationship between Granny Squares and I, and get in on the Granny Square trend right now because it's happening and I'm here for it and I love every part of it. All right, love. So this final segment is something that I'm going to call open floor. I'm just going to open the floor for whatever it is that I want to talk about or you guys want to talk about. I know this isn't live, but I definitely encourage you to leave questions and comments and suggestions down in the comment section, and I will address those in the next episode of the TL Yarn Crafts podcast. But for this very first episode, I wanted to talk about a conversation that is happening pretty robustly in the knitting and crochet community. And that is the conversation around diversity, inclusion, representation, appropriation, like literally so many terms. So many terms. So I took a moment a couple weeks ago to address this topic in an Instagram live that I did, and I'm going to play that clip here. Let's talk the talk. So unless you've been living under a rock, which is okay if you have, because we'll work on it. Unless you've been living under a rock, you are aware of and have seen some of the conversation that's being had in specifically the crochet and knit community, but just the general craft community. Well, kind of specific to the knit and crochet community, because I was talking to one of my sewing friends and she's like, they don't know nothing about what's happening here. So may or may not be something that's transcending crafts right now, but at least in the knit and crochet community, there's a conversation about diversity, inclusion, words meaning things, colonialism, gaslighting, so many terms. There's so many terms. Either way, the basis of this conversation is makers of color, and whatever that means to you, non-white makers have had experiences in this community that our white counterparts have not had. And it is through a combination of personal and social reinforcement that our white counterparts have not been enlightened to how their words affect their counterparts that are of color. That's the basis of this conversation. So it all started off with Karen Templer of Fringe Supply Co.'s blog, talked about a trip that she was going to be taking to India. And it kind of spiraled from there because there was some really fruitful and eye-opening conversation about the things that she said in that blog post. And I'm not going to go down a roll call of everyone who was involved in this conversation. I think there's some self-sufficiency and research that we can do. So if you want to learn more and learn all the facts, I definitely encourage you to do that. But I'm not gonna do that here. So the conversation is now open. It has been filleted and laid bare for everyone to chime in on and feel some kind of way about. So I can't remember the exact date that this all started. I feel like it was like late last week or the middle of last week or something. And Ravelry has it documented on their homepage for us. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. So all this shit's going down. And there's a lot of feelings, a lot of chips on shoulders, a lot of defensiveness, a lot of, it's not all of us, or you're taking it the wrong way, or whatever. I am not here to give you my opinion. I am here to give you facts, and I am here to share my experience. My experience very much mirrors a lot of what we've been hearing. I have, throughout my life, based on the color of my skin, had to deal with stuff and think about things that not everybody else has. And that has been my reality. I don't know any other way. So the fact, like, what gets me about it is when somebody says you hurt me and you say you like, I didn't mean to, or this shouldn't have hurt you, or if they say anything besides I'm sorry, how can I make sure this doesn't happen again? If they say anything besides that, that is wrong. Okay? I just want us to get on the same page with that. And I'm not going to rant. I'm not here to make anybody feel bad. I'm just here to let you know factually, if you hurt me and I say you hurt me and you get defensive about it, you need to check yourself, because you feeling defensive about the fact that I hurt you is a problem. That you hurt me, that's a problem. So if you pinch me and I say ow and you're like, oh, I was just playing, that's wrong. So if you say something that you think is completely innocuous and somebody responds and says, honey, you're actually like completely downgrading an entire population of people, take that in, realize your mistake, and work on making the change. Period. Like, this is like basic shit we learn in like kindergarten. If somebody says ow, you say I'm sorry. Period. Now, I will say, expanding on the I'm sorry piece, because I definitely give credit for the good intention of people who've been putting up posts lately. And maybe this will be the one part where I say my opinion on it. But if your language in response to this is going to be I'm sorry, you need to expand on what you're actually apologizing for. Because unless you legit did something to me, you can't say I'm sorry and just leave it there. You have to say I'm sorry for, and here's how I'm going to change. It's a two-step process. So if it's just I'm sorry you feel that way, I think we all know that's not an apology. I think we know that. If it's I'm sorry this happened to you, that's a fair apology. Maybe following that up with what you're going to do to enlighten and elevate yourself so you don't ever make somebody else feel that way. Like, there's an extra step that you need to take to make sure that when you apologize, it's meaningful. Because if you think about apologies in any other perspective, if your partner that you're in a relationship with does something that hurts you and they apologize, but then they don't change, like, what the fuck? Your apology means shit. It means nothing. Excuse my language. This is a very frustrating topic. It means nothing. So if you want to be my partner in craft, if you want to be my sister in craft, and you see that I'm hurting and feeling some kind of way about something that happened, and you just say sorry, and then we like merrily skip along, your apology has no legs. So understand that as an adult, seeing this and wanting to make some kind of change and wanting to do things differently and not wanting to be the person who gets called out in front of millions of makers, like, understand you got to do the work. You need to do your own research. You need to reach out to, talk to your friends of color. You need to include in a way that doesn't feel pretentious. Like, don't just say like, hey, look at me, I posted like one picture of my garment on a person of color, like I'm inclusive now. Like, no. Just like going to the gym or eating different, like being a good person is a lifestyle. Like being inclusive, being aware, and like you have to make some long-term changes in the way that you act and the way that you talk. All right? You having a black friend, like that has a term. It's called tokening. You feeling justified in white supremacy because you have like one black person in your sphere of influence it's not gonna cut it, boo. So my suggestion is get really comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations, initiate them if you need to, do your research, and make some real change. And I only have 30 seconds left, so I guess I'm gonna have to leave it there. So there it is. I really can't say it any better than I did in that clip. Don't shut down the diversity conversation. Don't shy away from the diversity conversation. Don't tell us to shut up and knit and be happy and be proud to be part of this community, because you know, everybody deserves to be here and everybody should be part of it regardless of your resources or the color of your skin. Just understand that this is way, way bigger than yarn. And this is a conversation that needs to happen for us to grow as people. Because regardless of what yarn related event or yarn store I walk into, I deserve, you deserve, we all deserve to feel welcome and to feel loved for being in the presence of other people who appreciate the same things that we do. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. All right, loves, if you've made it this far, you are the real MVP, and I've got a few announcements and also an exciting giveaway that I'm doing for this first episode of the TL Yarn Crafts podcast. So the first thing is this episode's pattern highlight. So that's going to be a TL Yarn Crafts pattern that I want to make sure you know about. This one is actually the Veronica Cocoon. This project came out just a couple months ago. It's one of my absolute favorites because not only is it easy, but it's super cozy. You can really put your own spin on it. It's one of those projects where I give you kind of the basic instructions for the construction of it and for the texture of it, but you can play around with different yarns and different colors to really personalize this project. This is a free pattern that's available on TLYCblog.com, so make sure you check that out. And make sure you're one of the first to know for all of the TL Yarn Crafts happenings. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, join my email list, which is at tlyarncrafts.com. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and YouTube, all of those great places, just so you know exactly what is happening. So like I said, this is the very first episode of the TL Yarn Crafts podcast. It was something that I decided to do on a whim. I didn't have a whole lot of plans, and I'm just glad that you were along the ride with me. So I am doing a giveaway. I'm going to grab some of the things that I love right in my stash. I'm going to pack them up and I'm going to send them to you. All you have to do to win this giveaway is go down in the comments and let me know 3 things that you are loving right now and also what state you live in. This giveaway is only open to US residents, and I will announce the winner in the next podcast episode. And before I sign off today, I want to give you my final word. My final word is just going to be a note of encouragement to take you through your day on a lighter note. So today's final word is you are enough. However you show up in this world, wherever you exist in this world, know that you are enough and that you have all of the resources and all of the support that you need to accomplish your dreams. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on today's episode of the TL Yarn Crafts podcast. I want to say hi to my mom and dad. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.